Hey guys, recently over this quarantine, I've been making tons and tons of music and doing a lot of co-productions for a lot of DJs. And I have to say, the most satisfyingly beautiful part about working on all of these projects is trying to make the dopest melody that I could possibly make. So I want to show you a really cool melody writing process where you start with something extremely simple and you add a couple simple things to that melody to ultimately make it more professional and more exciting to listen to. The difficult part about melodies is we have a lot of ego involved and a lot of emotions involved in what that melody sounds like. We want it to be good, so we tend to judge ourselves hard when it comes to making a melody, and that could really lead us to a creator's block and mess up our entire workflow. So let's go ahead and jump into it. We have something real simple here, just a little bass line and an extra note here. So we got something real simple to build a nice melody on. And so when I'm making melodies, I like to use what I already have. That's senseless, just trying to make something extravagant and different right off the start. We could do that later. But right now, I'm just going to use what we have. And what we already have here is a good bass line and a nice rhythm. So I'm going to use this rhythm by making notes that are in the same rhythm of these chords. Now, you don't have to do that every time, but it's a very easy way to get started. So what I'm going to do is actually copy that top line right there and just put it on this little lead sound I have. Let's start harmonizing. Get rid of that, and then we will duplicate. So now we have the same thing 2 times over. So that sounds good. That's a great start to what could be a beautiful melody. And I want to key in on that. This could possibly be a great melody. If we end up with a melody that's not that good, the best thing to do is to not get rid of it, but to put it aside and do the entire process again and try to come up with something different. Sometimes you can make up to 20 to 30 different melodies, and that is the best case you could really be in, because then you can pick the best one. And that's what we call drafting and design, or in other words, writing sketches. Now I'm gonna change some notes around here to really make this melody loop around and come to life. Kind of like we just wrote a sentence and now we have to put the period on the sentence so that sentence ends. So let's go ahead and do that. We have a second half of the melody here that's the same thing as the first half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this half up by just doing something different with the notes like that. So that was pretty simple. Let's see what we get. So that sounds good. We could potentially use that, but I do want to see what happens if I try something else. So I'm going to put that aside and I'm going to keep these here and do something with these, because these really are significant to me. They move this melody around a lot. So that sounded pretty good. I like the whole change up here, and it ultimately made this melody sound like it came full circle. Alright guys, so I have a new project here, and I'm going to go ahead and write a melody and then show you how to make it exciting and more professional. So this is what the beat sounds like. Alright, so let's go ahead and start writing a little melody here. Alright guys, so here's the basic form of this melody, and this is what it sounds like. very repetitive, very basic. This is very typical to a melody maybe an inexperienced or amateur producer would end up making. So I'm going to show you what you could do to take this melody and just add a little bit of professionalism to it and make it sound more exciting. So with every melody, a melody works in a sequence of loops. So this one is 4 loops long. And if I had 4 loops that were very basic and they just copied one another, kind of like this one did, then it wouldn't be that fun to listen to. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to concentrate on these first 2 loops and try to close these up before we go into the second half of this melody. This is the very repetitive note to me. It just sticks out. So what I'm going to do is pull that down and watch how this melody now steps down to the lower part of it. Like that. Now this note is starting to be a little bit repetitive to me too. So what I'm going to do is bring this one down. And this would just repeat exactly what we heard a couple times over in this melody. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the end of this so that this melody could freely flow into the next 4-bar sequence. I'm going to get rid of that. Now, listen how this melody flows into itself and ends nice and graciously and would move into the next 4-bar sequence of this melody. That's my way of making simple melodies more exciting and more professional in the easiest way possible. If you enjoyed this video and would like to learn more about melody writing, chord writing, sound design, and songwriting, come join me in my EDM bootcamp. I left a link for you in the description below, and I'll see you in there.